Well, here we go. We're going to talk about Google stock. They just brought out some absolute mega earnings, probably the best earnings I've seen from earnings season so far. And we'll talk about what was so good about them and why the stock is up, because it's having a fantastic day. And obviously, with Google being one of my largest positions in the portfolio and the tumble that we had in Meta the other day, I think Google's my fourth largest position. So yeah, this more than makes up for the tumble in Meta and a bit more. Google's doing absolutely amazing. I think I'm up around 67% on that position right now. So yeah, I didn't think I was actually going to make a video on Google's earnings, but they were so good, I thought, we're going to have to make a video on them. But realistically, today I was actually supposed to talk about a new stock that I bought. I was going to reveal that one today. It's a big blue chip stock, so I'll have to knock that back a little bit. And obviously, the other big standout one is this guy today. What a bunch of news this has come out on Dartrace today. So yeah, I mean, another one of my big holdings up 75% year to date. Wow. I mean, it's been a cracking year. It's been a cracking 2024. It's been a really good 2023. It feels like I'm back on my A game with a lot of these stocks now, which is really good to see. And I always knew it would happen when we get back onto a bull market, but it's been really good to actually see it happening. So I think a few of you guys probably wanted me to talk about this one, and I will, just not today. I'll probably talk about that one maybe tomorrow, and then I'll try fit in the new stock I bought maybe on Sunday. So I might actually end up doing two videos actually over the weekend. We'll see what happens. But obviously we're going to talk about Google earnings today. I've not listened to the full conference call. I'll probably do that. It's going to be a busy weekend. I'm probably going to do that over the weekend, and then on the Patreon I will then break down, I'll go into the Google earnings a little bit further than what I do today and talk about anything that I've seen on the conference call, which is really good. I've already seen on Discord a few people talk about a few things that they've actually seen mentioned during the conference call as well, some like little Easter eggs that are really good for the stock. So it sounded like there was a good conference call there as well. So on the Patreon, you guys on there, I'll go into that a little bit later on as well. And I'll also on the Patreon probably go a little bit deeper into the Dartrace as well. But I'll also talk about it on the YouTube channel as well going forward anyway. But let's get on to Google. Obviously, cracking day today, up 10%, which is a really good move for a company like Google. It's very rare you see something like a 2 trillion market cap company move that much, but it did. It was up 10%, which was really good. Numbers came out, and as soon as I saw the numbers, I thought, okay, this alone is going to be up like 4 or 5%, and there was some even better news later on, which you've probably seen by now, but that also helped it up probably a little bit more. But the numbers were really good. Google's been a little bit, especially when we saw the Meta numbers and Google as well, like there's been a lot of questions asked about it, like the growth, and as Meta's got around it, they've shown more ads, but Google's been weak because it's quite hard for them to show more ads. They actually need the recovery in like the advertising space, and a few people got spooked about the Google Cloud numbers last time, which I think missed by like 1% or something. It was like, come on, let's stop, putting stocks down for 10% because they missed by 1%. It's stupid when that happens. But yeah, it's carried on it's recovered it now. It's carried on its rally. I think it's having a cracking year. It's up 24% year to date, which is really good. I think, like I said, I'm up about 67% on this position. I'd love Google to be my largest position, but it just wasn't down in the range that I wanted to buy for long enough. But I still got it up to like my fourth largest position. So yeah, this has really helped my account today. But anyway, on the earnings, EPS mega beat by 0.38. So yeah, that's nearly a good 20% beat on the EPS. Revenue as well, up 15% year over year. So back to really high amounts of growth. Beat by 1.8 billion. So that's a really nice beat when you're beaten by billions. Also the operating margin coming back as well by 32%. When you start digging into the numbers, I mean, revenue was up 15%, 60% on constant currency. Operating margin went from 25% to 32%. So, that margin expansion going on as well. So we didn't just have an increase in profitability, we had the margins come back, which is great. Other income as well went up a lot. Look at the EPS growth. So obviously from a forward basis, I mean, right now it's 28 times earnings, 23 times earnings. Probably if they keep being like this, it's even going to drop the EPS even lower than this. So, I mean, realistically, what we're probably really low 20 times forward earnings for a company doing these numbers. I think Google, I've said it for a while, I feel like Google is the best valued big tech out there. I've even thought now, like, it's still not a terrible valuation, to be fair. So yeah, it's not even like it's priced to perfection right now. It's actually having it reflected very much in its share price. It's been mispriced for a long time and it's coming back. Starting digging into the numbers a little bit more, Google search was up a lot. YouTube ads, this surprised me. YouTube ads was starting to really rebound. And what surprised me about this is because I've got quite a good insight, because obviously, YouTube ends up paying me not much. I think it's like £200 a month, which when you work out the amount of videos and the hours that it puts together, I think it works out was like £3 an hour. So it's nothing serious. It's definitely not a living, but I do get paid off YouTube for doing these videos. Not a lot at all, but yeah, anyway, that's another point, is that sometimes I see like the recovery in the advertising, so it tells me how much I get paid per like 1,000 views or whatever it is, and I've actually not seen that gone up in the last like couple of months, and in fact I've seen it probably actually gone down a little bit in the last 3 months. So the fact that Google ads has gone up by like a good 10, 15, I'm trying to do some quick maths there, let's say call it 15%. Let's say it's gone up a good like 15%, maybe even a little bit more there, a little bit more than that. That surprised me, because when I look at what I've certainly got, I wasn't expecting that good of an earnings from Google, because I'm certainly not getting it. So I don't know if they've changed how they pay out like the YouTube ads. I don't know if they're keeping a bit more of a cut of it, or what's kind of going on there. Not that it's anything Google stock related. It's personally probably something for me that I need to look into, but I didn't see that happening, because when I looked at my numbers, I didn't really see the rebound. I wasn't really seeing the rebound in the advertising, but clearly advertising is coming back a bit. You look at the Google, you look at the Meta numbers, if you look at Snapchat numbers as well, and then you've got Google numbers now. Advertising is actually coming back a little bit so far this year, and that probably leads me on to actually S4 Capital as well. When S4 Capital bring out their Q1 update, which I think is in May, the second week in May, I would expect them to, they kind of said, oh, we don't expect much improvement here, but I'm looking at these guys bringing their numbers out, and I think they've got to say there's been a bit of a stronger start to advertising this year than what we expected. Otherwise, I start getting worried about that one. But yeah, clearly advertising is a little bit stronger than what we thought at the moment. And there you can see Google advertising as well. Big rebound there. Google subscription up a lot. Google services, Google Cloud still putting in really strong growth, as you can see here. And then when we switch to the profitability point of view, you've got Google services. I mean, the big thing, Google Cloud. We've said this. I think I've been calling this out on the YouTube channel for like the last 2 years, and it was one of my big reasons. If you ever go watch back, some of my videos when I talk about Google buying in 2022. One of the big things I said is that I don't think cloud's appreciated at all. When you look at like what benefit that's had for Microsoft, when you look at Amazon, the cloud services is the biggest growth driver of Amazon. It's not the e-commerce side of it, it's all about the cloud. So you look at the profit that Google are already throwing off, you then add in Google Cloud, which could throw even another layer of profitability on top of it. When that starts turning profitable, which we started seeing last year in a weak environment, and now we're starting to get into a bit of a stronger environment, I mean, that alone is throwing off, really good amounts of profitability. That's look at the improvement. That's nearly over a 4x improvement in the profitability on the cloud. That's a really good secret driver that not many people actually point out there. And look at the recovery and the total income as well. But this is probably the big thing that got everyone really excited. So, dividend. Google have joined the dividend club. Obviously, Meta, they were the first ones to kind of do that. Obviously, paying around about a 0.5% dividend yield. Funny enough, Google's is going to be around about the same a dividend, so they've clearly been looking at Meta. I hope, I can't remember exactly, but at the start of the year, I made like 10 predictions, and I've got a feeling that I did say on that prediction video that Google would go pay a dividend. I hope I said it. But yeah, I think it was, if you could put a bet on it, I would put a bet on it that they would pay a dividend, and they have. Obviously, they've seen Meta, they've seen probably the benefits that they've had from paying a dividend. Obviously, paying a dividend opens you up to a total different breed of investor, because there's a lot of investors out there that would only buy a stock because if it pays a dividend, even if it's a small dividend, they'll go buy it. So it probably opens it up, Google, to more investors that probably would never have bought it before. And even for me, I'm really happy I know I'm mainly in here for the share price, but there's definitely nothing wrong that if I do end up holding this stock for 5, 10, 15, a forever hold stock, as well as that, at least I get a lovely dividend on the side as well. And I always thought, one thing that I've always said about my portfolio is that if you ever look at a lot of my big stocks, really, like DraftKings and Hims and Google and Meta and PayPal, those Mercado Libre, those are my top 5, 6 holdings really in the stock market. And I always thought none of my big 6 have ever, they don't really pay a dividend. Like when I used to have my big stocks in the portfolio previously, it was like Microsoft and they pay me a dividend, Visa, they pay me a dividend, and I still own those. It's just that as the years go on, you have more money, my position, the portfolio scaling, profits I've taken, your portfolio, when you keep adding money in as well, your portfolio gradually gets bigger, and my Google position now is naturally a lot bigger than where my Visa and Microsoft positions were, 3, 4, 5 years ago. But now when I look back at it, now my big stocks to where I were a few years ago, my big stocks now don't actually pay me anything, and a lot of them I plan on holding forever. And previously a lot of them did pay me dividends, which was nice to get. So that was always one thing that I had a criticism of in my portfolio, is that a lot of my big stocks are growth related and they have to be share price performance related. But this has really changed in 2024. I look at these 6 stocks now, and 2 of them have basically, paid me a dividend. So I've got 2 out of my 6 big stocks now paying me dividend. I mean, I wonder, this is my next one, I wonder next year if PayPal is seeing the success that they're having. Let's see they see a rebound in the share price a little bit. Let's see they start seeing the rebound in profitability and the year of efficiencies paying off. And they already buy back a lot of shares, but I wonder if they start going, let's do a bit of shares and a bit of a dividend as well. I wonder if that will happen with PayPal as well, is another thought that I had as well, and then it'd be 3 out of the 6, which would be really nice if that happens. So yeah, I wonder, dividends always went out the window a little bit, mostly now, you don't see a lot of the big companies now doing dividends. A lot of them do share buybacks for tax reason purposes, but we're starting to see the dividends coming back a little bit right now, which is quite nice. I think the combination of having a dividend and a share buyback is obviously, I think, is the perfect combination. But like I said, Google are doing the perfect combination right now because they announced the dividend, but they're not stopping their share repurchases at all. They're going to do a 70 billion, not 70 million. I mean 70 billion. I mean, imagine that's crazy. That's probably more than the value of most companies on the public market. That's absolutely insane. That's nearly the equivalent of what probably they could go buy, probably PayPal for, which is crazy. PayPal probably actually a good addition for Google, to be fair. Probably a nice acquisition for them. Anyway, it's not about PayPal. We talked about quite a bit of them on this video, but yeah, obviously that's probably what the market really likes. So I think on the earnings alone, the stock would have probably been up a good 4 or 5%, but I think the fact of the increased share buyback and the dividend, I think that pushed it up another 5%. And yeah, I'll be honest with you, I'm surprised the stock isn't even a little bit higher than where it is today. I mean, relatively, it's still a decent valuation. You're not playing up a ridiculous amount. 23 forward times earnings for a company growing at 15+%, getting a dividend, doing 70 billion share buybacks, beating EPS by nearly 20%. It's not ridiculous at all, is it, really? So I'm surprised the stock, even though it's a good day and my account's doing really well because of Google stock today, and obviously Darktrace today. But Google in particular, Google's a lot bigger position than Darktrace for me. Even though Darktrace is a large UK hold, and Google, I've got a lot more money in the US markets, and yeah, I mean, it's good reaction today, but I got to say, I thought on the news that I think it was up in after hours by 14-15%. I'm surprised it didn't hold. And I actually thought that when it opened up, we might actually see it go a little bit higher than where it is right now. But there again, I guess it's had a good year today. I mean, in the last year, it's already up 66% year in the last year alone. But yeah, overall, though, positive. For getting the short term here, long term, I'm happy. I'm a really happy shareholder, and I'm happy to be a shareholder for the next kind of 3, 4, 5 years while they carry on executing massively. The AI development, the balance sheet, the buybacks, the dividend. Yeah, I'm a really happy Google shareholder, and I just wished it stayed a little bit lower for a bit longer, and it would have been my largest position. But hey, being my 4th largest position, I'll take that with the numbers that they brought today anyway. So congrats to any of you Google shareholders anyway, guys. And yeah, I'll probably see you again this weekend because there's a few things that I still want to update you on anyway. Hope you enjoyed it. See you in a bit.